Welcome to Season 2, Episode 22 of the Bulls REKAP Podcast. I'm Joe Cowley of the Chicago Sun-Times. You can obviously read my stuff in the Sun-Times sports section, all things Bulls. I rarely venture into anything else. You can follow me on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, at JCowleyHoops. It's been I think kind of a fun follow lately. It's kind of been mellow, but there's a lot of trade deadline stuff, a lot of rumors, and that's not going to stop as we go into May. We're going to have the draft lottery, and then obviously June, the draft, and then July free agency. And then I'll probably be in Vegas for summer league. So always kind of fun stuff with the NBA season to keep an eye on. But today we are post All-Star break. We are post trade deadline. 27 games left for the Bulls. So you're saying, why do I care? Because this comes down now to priorities. That's the word of the day, kids. Priorities. Dallas Mavericks, they've lost 9 straight. Today, news broke, and we are February 18th of the taping. Kyrie Irving has been shut down for the remainder of the year. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I'm sure they will let Cooper Flagg continue to go out there and develop. This is basically a Cooper Flagg production. As I predicted, Cooper Flagg, to me, would be the best rookie. I think there's a battle going on with he and Con Knippel. Con Knippel has a little bit easier because he has Bridges. He has LaMelo. You got Miller. I mean, he's got some dudes around him, and he's going to have Kobe White. So I think he's life is a little easier for him. Cooper Flagg, basically the last month and a half, all you're doing is game planning for Cooper Flagg, and all he's doing is producing at a high level. So I think that's your rookie of the year. I think he's been the most impressive. But Con, hey, we were always big on Con Knippel. You go back and watch the podcast from the spring, early summer, was on Con Knippel back then. Just everything I was hearing, that he would be a top 5 pick, adult in the room, and I think he's done that with Charlotte, kind of helped turn that franchise around. But this is about priorities, and Dallas understands their priority. They understand the mission. They are sitting, I want to say they're sitting like 8 worst record. They've lost 9 straight, set the stage for them. I don't know if they could jump down to 7 or 6. That would be probably best case scenario for them. But look, the game plan for them is very simple. They have their future star, maybe even their immediate star in Cooper Flagg, and you're hoping to get lucky and get a running partner with him. And then Kyrie Irving, they can make the decision on what they want to do with Kyrie Irving in the summer. Is it better for them to try and get more draft assets, or is it better to keep him and move forward? That's something they could decide after the June draft, which is nice. Utah, priority, Jaren Jackson Jr. Obviously, the growth on his knee is a concern. Surgery to shut him down for the season. We don't know what kind of growth it is. It could have been something that's done after the season if they were in a playoff race. We don't know that, but priority, shut him down now. Get it taken care of now. Lauri Markkanen, I know they got banged by Silver, them in Indiana for what they did as far as tanking, but there's ways medical can help you tank. So let's keep an eye on Lauri Markkanen. But again, a priority. So the Bulls, what are your priorities? Memphis, let's put Memphis in there. Trade Jaren Jackson Jr. They've lost 4 straight. They get it, and they're right there in front of the Bulls. Can the Bulls catch Memphis? It'd kind of be tough. Right now, the Bulls are percentage-wise right about where Milwaukee is. I think they have one more game played, one more win. So Milwaukee, but right there. And Milwaukee, if Giannis is coming back, the Bulls can easily sink below Milwaukee. So what are the Bulls' priorities? What should be the priorities? Winning should not be the priority. This is not a message to Billy Donovan, because Billy Donovan is about winning. What should be the priorities is you're sitting at 10th right now. The Bulls have the 4th toughest remaining schedule left. Let it all play out. You have no front court. You know what Josh Giddey is. You know what Trey Jones is. They're both coming back from hamstring injuries. They're both going to get a chance to play. Take it easy with them. They play a couple games. Hey, boys, little tightness. Sit this one out. The priority has to be, forget losing games. That's just should come naturally for the Bulls, just because of the schedule and because of the front court issues. Nick Richards, he's a decent shot blocker, but this was a guy that was getting 10, 11 minutes a game. You can't rely on him and just throw him in there. He's a free agent. He's a rental. Okay. The Dancing Bear. He's a 6'7" power forward that's built like a linebacker. Can do some things. He's not dancing anymore. He's just a bear. Can do some things. Shoot threes. Big body, big presence. He waived his last year. Rumors he's going to play overseas and already has something in place. Not a priority. Those guys are just out there because they are bodies to take up space. They are nothing that you should look forward to and get excited about. Nobody should be getting excited about Richards. Nobody should be excited about Garçon, the Dancing Bear. This is about losing games and continuing to develop. Here's the three players that to me are the priority. Number one is still Modest. Without question, it has to remain Modest. Am I concerned about Modest? No. I think he's not had the best couple weeks, but I think he's been more aggressive. I'd like to see him kind of kick that up a little bit on the boards. There's no reason to me that Modest doesn't finish these final 27 games looking kind of like a 29 guy, 28 guy in there. 20 points, 8 to 9 rebounds. He'll get his 1.5 blocks per game or whatever it's going to be, whatever it averages out to. I'm fine with that. And continue. Hopefully they continue to have Richards, Dancing Bear, Okoro, and kind of move Modest so he can kind of play that three. Because to me, that's where he projects out. So he's priority number one. That's without saying. Priority number two, as far as I'm concerned, you have to find out what you have in Rob Dillingham. There's something there. There's a wiggle. There's an acceleration that we haven't seen from a Bulls player in a very long time. Io straight is speed. He didn't have the shiftiness, didn't have the wiggle with the ball handling of Dillingham. And I understand Dillingham is small. He might project out to be nothing more than a rotation guy. He might not be a starter for you, but you got to find out. He's on a rookie contract, so there's no gun to head. In a couple months, decision has to be made on him. You have that, but again, I know what Trey Jones is. Dillingham is different than Trey Jones. They're both smaller size, but they're two different type of players. I need to see what Dillingham is in this offense. I need to see that he can continue to dribble, work his way into the teeth of the defense, and then become a better decision maker. He has not been the greatest decision maker. He's got some crazy shots he's put up. He's thrown a couple passes into the stands, but he's also sprayed it out and thrown some nice passes. I just need to see what he is over these final 27 games. So if I'm the Bulls, I can say, we know we have Josh Giddey run the point. And then does Dillingham make Trey Jones a tradable piece? Trey Jones, $8 million next year and one more year after that. Yeah, 3 years. Affordable piece. He won't bring you back a first-round draft asset, but he's a package piece that could bring back something if they get aggressive. So I'd like to see what he is. And there's been a lot of talk about how Billy Donovan has given him a longer leash than he usually gives younger guys, specifically Modest. I think that's been done on purpose. Dillingham came to the Bulls as a damaged person and player, confidence-wise, because of what went on in Minnesota. So it's important not to pull that rug out on him again and let him kind of play through mistakes. And that's one of the things he's talked about is this place has given him a chance to play through mistakes. That may dry up somewhat now that you're getting Giddey back and Trey Jones, and the guard room is now 6 and standing room only. But I still, when he's out there, give him his minutes. What those minutes are going to break down to be, we'll see. But to me, he should be a priority. And then the third guy, Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey is not the same Jaden Ivey he was before horrific leg injury. And it's hard to tell if it's physical, mental, or both. That's what the Bulls have to figure out. The reason why is he's a restricted free agent. And that means the team has final say over anybody that bids on him. And luckily for the Bulls, this is not a buyer's market this summer. You may have 8 teams that have money to spend, and Jaden Ivey is probably not a priority on most of those teams. They may kick the tires on him just to see. But if I'm the Bulls, you may be the one that are setting the market price, your own market price, and bidding against yourselves. I want to know what I'm bidding on. Am I bidding on a guy that is slowly getting his confidence over these last 27 games and getting the explosiveness back? Because he does not look like the explosive player he was coming out of Purdue. To me, back then, I think he was 16, 17 points a night as a young player for Detroit. He can shoot it, but he was explosive going to the rim too. We're not seeing that. We're seeing a guy who's a little more tentative. I still think he could shoot it, but he just seems to be a little tentative doing everything else. I need to see over the final 27 games, 6 weeks, 2 months, whatever's left in the season. I need to see, all right, I feel good about this guy, 14, 15 million a year for 3 years, and possibly he's our starting 2 guard. I need to see that if I'm the Bulls. So to me, those are the 3 main priorities that have to be seen. And people are going to say, what about the other 2 additions that they added with Anthony Simon and then obviously Colin Sexton? Look, Sexton, you're not keeping both. It'd be ridiculous to keep both and go into the draft saying, okay, we have 5 guards, and possibly if we hit 6 or 7 or 5, there's another guard. You got to take best available player if you're the Bulls, and that might be a Kingston Flemings. You might not have a choice. Then you got 6 guards again, which to me is just too many, and you're looking at the same problem. So you have to be – something would have to go very wrong or very right where they'd hit like 2nd or 3rd in the draft, and you're looking at Cameron Boozer or DeBonsa, and you still want to be guard heavy. I still think 6 is just way too many. So Colin Sexton, I'm not saying he and Anthony are redundant players. I don't think they are exactly. They both shoot around 38% from 3. They both can play either guard spot in a pinch. I think Anthony's more of a 2 guard. Sexton, I think, is more of a kind of a Kobe where he can play either guard spot a little easier. But, I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing? I don't see either of them as future Bulls. If you're going to keep one, maybe Sexton, because he seems to be more intense, seems to be more searching for a permanent home. To me, Anthony Simons knows that this is a stop-off place. So I would treat it like that. What does that do for playing time? That's the tough thing. I mean, in a perfect world, Josh Giddey is going to start, and Jaden Ivey should be the 2 or the starting 2. But does Billy try and win games and go with a little more proven commodity in Anthony? That's the tough thing. We'll find that out soon. Because we don't have the answers for those, and we won't have those. Billy doesn't like talking about a starter, so we probably won't know that till that first game kicks off Thursday. And what we see Thursday might not be what we see a couple days later, Saturday, when they have a back-to-back with, I think it goes Pistons-Knicks. But to me, losing Modest, Rob Dillingham, Jaden Ivey, that's all I care about the remainder of this season. That really is. That's all I care about. And if you're the Bulls, that's all you should care about. And whatever that takes, whether it's medical getting involved, whether it's front office saying, because, Billy has not been told, here's an edict of how to play guys or what guys to play. None of that has been handed to him. So that's why sometimes medical has to step in and say, hey, this guy's got a little tightness. Look what Dallas is doing. Look what the other teams are doing. So there's still stuff to watch. That's what I'm watching these final 27 games. Priorities, boys. it's got to come down to priorities and what's important for the future of this organization. And winning games and running down this play-in at this point would be catastrophic. It really just would be catastrophic to everything you did the last month, the heat you're taking from critics, calling the Bulls one of the worst front offices in the league. I think a vote just came out from I don't remember the website, and the Bulls were 28th worst front office. I think the Kings were last. And maybe Joe Dumars for New Orleans was 29th, maybe. I think it was something like that. But you're not in good standing, boys. Finish this thing off the right way. All right. Let's make a quick trip to Cowley Island. Billy Donovan, the very guy I was just talking about with priorities. I wrote a column in the Sun-Times just about how my feelings about Billy Donovan, and that it's been hard to judge him, and I've said this numerous times. I think Billy Donovan, he is not a top-tier, top-5 elite coach. He's in that second tier to me, that small group of elite coaches, difference makers, and it seems like it's even shrinking. But there's 4 or 5 to me difference makers. But even a guy like Spoelstra, who's in there every year as an elite difference maker, you still need players. Look at Miami. They're kind of just where they usually are play-in. They're one of those teams that could win the play-in and become a dangerous team. That's because of Spoelstra. But Billy, to me, is near that top of that second tier. I don't think that's a bad place or a slap at him at all. But Bulls fans, my goodness, the aftermath of me writing that on not only social media, but email. Billy does it. Billy doesn't do this. And Billy, there's a lot of anti-Billy Donovan. And my one question to the people that are anti-Billy Donovan, tell me the great player that he's coached as a Bull. Who is he? Don't tell me Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen was mentally checked out by the time Billy took the job. He was so beaten down by his role, what he was in the eyes of the front office, what he was in the eyes of the organization. And it's not like a change of immediate scenery fixed things. He went to Cleveland, and he was kind of the same inconsistent Lauri Markkanen. It took Lauri Markkanen kind of hitting rock bottom and being traded again, going to Utah, and then also going away to in Finland, you have to do some military time. He had to go do some military time after the Cleveland thing. He became an adult, and he understood, this is what I want to do. I want to be an NBA player. That's when I think he exploded. It had nothing to do with Billy Donovan. People want to equate that. You're a moron if you try to equate that. To me, DeMar DeRozan played his best basketball under Billy Donovan. Zach LaVine played his best basketball under Billy Donovan. And we're still looking, and those were given talents to him. Here's the talent. See what you can do with it. And I think he got the most out of it. We've seen they've both fallen off since they left the Bulls and they left Billy Donovan. So I just think the critique and the criticism of Billy Donovan is Bulls fans not understanding that, A, this is not a great place to coach. It hasn't been for a long time. Ask Phil Jackson, who was probably one of the better coaches in NBA history. He was pushed out of town. Tom Thibodeau pushed out of town. You had Rick Carlisle, who was ahead of the Coaches Association for years, telling people, don't come here and coach. It's not a good place. So the fact that you have a second-tier coach, Billy Donovan, who I think does get a lot out of his players. Does he get the most out of his players? Tough to say, because I have not seen a Brooklyn Tom Thibodeau series where Joakim is injured, Luol Deng is unavailable. You have Nate Robinson, you have Joakim on one leg, and you still beat the Brooklyn Nets in the first round of the playoffs, which should have never happened. So I have not seen that from Billy Donovan, but I have seen him take a product that on paper is not very good and lift it up to places that a lot of coaches couldn't get it to. So be careful what you wish for. I'm not saying Billy Donovan is going to walk away from this thing, but I would not be surprised if this summer or next summer he's just kind of like, yeah, I've kind of enough's enough. Haven't been told that. Just a feeling. So, all right, let's get to the list. We went through names before of this 26 draft class. I don't remember exactly who I had 1 through 5. This is as March is starting to come, and we'll get to see most of these guys in March Madness and the tournament, conference tournaments, and then obviously in the big dance. But these are my top 5 guys. If the Bulls get any of these 5, I will be ecstatic. So we'll start with number 5. Kingston Flemings, Houston. If you haven't seen this dude play yet, watch him. Like him. He's a baller. I don't think he was in my top 5. He was probably just outside my top 5 when I did this earlier in the year. Number 4, Caleb Wilson. He has done nothing to slide out of that number 4. To me, it's the top 3 guys that I'm going to name. Caleb Wilson. After that, when you get to 5, I like Kingston Flemings, but you're going to have some different opinions. So I'm sticking with Caleb Wilson, number 4. And look, by the way, that would give Modest, you're sliding over the 3 because he's probably a 4 or 5 in the NBA. So number 3, I think I may have had Boozer number 2. I'm not sure, but Cameron Boozer from Duke is number 3. People are starting to pick his game apart a little bit. I still think he is solid number 3, and if the Bulls can get him, there's your number 4 power forward, modest, slide your ass over, perfect spot if the Bulls could hit number 3, because I think that's where Boozer will be. Number 2, I mean, there's still people that want to debate these 2. I'm not going to. AJ DeBonsa, if you get him, you're in pretty good shape because this dude, he's built like an NBA guy. He plays like an NBA guy. Explosion. He's got a lot of really great things. He's not Cooper Flagg. No one in this draft class is Cooper Flagg. So let's stop right there. Doesn't mean it's not a better draft class because it might be deeper. It might have, the way it's breaking down right now, it's Cooper Flagg, Knipple, Harper when he plays. And then, you got some guys that are interesting. These 1, 2, and 3 guys could all be serious dogs. And then number 1, Darren Peterson, it would be number 1 without even an asterisk next to it. The fact that he can't finish games and has this cramping, and then there's talk about agents kind of, hey, you don't need to play this game. Again, that's all rumors. I don't know. On talent alone, when he plays, because NBA, he could be a 1 or a 2. When he plays, my goodness, does he have a lot of talent and a lot of explosiveness, and just he's a dude. And then what I can't forget is when I talked about these guys last year during their high school senior years, Peterson went and played DeBonsa's team and Boozer's team and beat their asses both times. That has never left my head. So when I do the rankings, Peterson's always going to get the nod because I saw what he did on the same court with those dudes, and he's a dude. He's just a dude. So he's number 1. Don't love some of the other stuff, but I'll stick with him at number 1. And look, if the Bulls get number 1, any 3 of those guys, if you're a Bulls fan, it's time to party. But that's why you got to have priorities. Got to have those priorities in line to make sure that you have those most of those lottery balls as possible. So that's it. A lot of priority talk. I think that's the most important thing as we look at the last 27 games. And I believe we're going to have some guests coming in pretty soon. We had guests lined up. They traded a couple of those guests, but we're back in the pool. And so we might have some Bulls players guests coming up. We'll see. But until then, till next week, I got next.